Motivation is good, but today I want you to try what I have to share with you in this video. Hey self-helper, I want to share with you today an important story from my life. The one that in many ways shaped all of the things that I do today. It's this story about how I came across the subject of psychology, and all of these videos, all of the information that I share with you today, this is how it all started off. Now, I've told you many times on this channel that I was never a good student, never managed to, pass with flying colors. In fact, passing was the, so to speak, the challenge that I used to face on a regular basis. I mean, come exam time, it was always about, how can I just scrape through? I was always the procrastinator, last minute planner, the last minute study guy. So I used to run into a whole bunch of problems just because of my lack of ability to study and score well. That was the problem back then. And moving forward, when I had to write my final exams for the 12th grade, the deadly board exam that every Indian student dreads and that you're made to dread by your parents, this was the thing that was, coming up to me slowly. I mean, the exam was not too far away. And considering my background, how hard I had it with regard to, academics and scoring well, this was more than just the normal challenge. I mean, I not only did I have the pressure of passing, but I had to pass with good colors, otherwise we wouldn't get into a good university. So this is a common problem that every Indian student faces. And when I had to write my board exam, the subject that I was probably not even giving too much importance to, but I knew I had to study it, was psychology. Psychology was one of the subjects that I just had no particular interest in at the time. But it was there and I had to read it because I had chosen that particular combination of subjects. The funny thing is, when it came time to actually have to study and write the exam, I realized that one week before my final board exam, I had not even picked up my book and read the definition of the word psychology. So you can imagine the kind of situation I was in. Hardly ever read the subject. I have 5 huge books. I'm not even kidding. For a 12th grader, this would be a pretty thick book, right? So I had 5 books of that size to read and to prepare for in 1 week. Needless to say, this was in many ways, this was my last chance. I'll talk about this in greater detail another time. But basically what you need to know is that this was such a critical moment in my life that this was in many ways my last chance and I had to perform well. So leading up to the exam, 1 week left, I'm sitting in front of my book, nothing's going in. How am I going to pass this examination? How am I going to study well? Well, put my nose to the grindstone, burn the midnight oil, pretty much. The entire week, I slept maybe a couple of hours. No, not a couple of hours a day. Yeah, something of that nature. Maybe the entire week, I had maybe 10 to 12 hours of sleep. No jokes about that. It was so bad that I was sleeping sometime in the afternoon for maybe an hour. I wake up and I don't remember anything. I don't remember even a single thing that I've read, and I'm so desperate at this point that I start to cry. Not because I'm desperate about the exam coming up, but the fact that I don't remember anything that I put so much effort into, sacrifice my sleep, my health and whatnot for. So that was the state of things. But somehow, I persevered, I pushed through that wall. I never thought, it was not that I was motivated, it was that I just had to push myself through this because I knew what was there on the other side. I knew that the potential of what I would achieve if I just managed to break through this one tiny barrier that I have in front of myself. there would be so much more for me on the other side. So it was not that inner force of motivation that was pushing me. It was the fact that there was the fact that I may fail, the fact that I may not walk away from this with something healthy. And trust me, I had my fair share of failures leading up to this, and this was in many ways my last chance, as I mentioned. So it hit me that motivation is good, but desperation is better. Desperation is stronger. When you put yourself in a position where you have to do something no matter what, you do not allow yourself to be pushed down by anything that is happening around you, by what you tell yourself. Nothing really matters except what happens to you or the people whom you care about, and you're desperate enough to make it happen. You will find a way. You will do what it takes to make it happen if you are desperate enough. And that's the case with many people, in our own lives. I pushed myself through that barrier, studied whatever I had to, and at the end of the day, I passed with 70%. A lot of you may have expected me to do a lot better considering how much I studied. But that's how it is. That's how things turn out. Now, maybe if I had prepared better, I would have scored better. But that doesn't really meet the point of this video. The point I am trying to make to you is this. You need to start looking at things in a more desperate fashion. Not in the fact that you have limited stuff to deal with, but the fact that if you want something bad enough, you will do what it takes in order to achieve it. And that's such an important concept. Think about a mother who has to feed her 3 hungry children. Is she going to complain about her lack of education, her lack of expertise, her issues with her husband? No, she's not going to do that. She's going to look at, how can I feed my family? How can I contribute to these children's lives? How can I actually help them reach a state where they do not have to worry about their own problems anymore? How do I push them to lead a life for themselves and not have to do what I'm doing right now, struggling to make ends meet? That kind of desperation is what I'm talking about. A sportsman who comes from a very difficult background quits his or her job to focus on their training, to reach a point where, I am going to achieve that title for myself, and I'm not doing it just for myself, but it's also for my family. I don't want them to have to go through the misery that I have gone through. I want all of this hard work to amount to something. I want to reach great heights. That kind of motivation where you're so desperate that you push yourself to a point where results happen regardless of the circumstances around you, that is what truly defines the people who make it and the people who don't make it. Think about that. Think about different instances in your life where you had to do it, where there was no other alternative. And tell me down in the comment section below if there is an incident in your own life that defines something like this. This is probably a decision that changed your life. Something that contributed so strongly to who you have become, that it defines and is a part of you. That's why it's so important. So imagine if we inculcated this kind of desperation into every single aspect of our life. Imagine if we were so desperate for every single thing we did, we pushed ourselves so hard that we had to make things happen. Imagine where we would be. Imagine the things we could accomplish if we were that interested or that motivated to actually push ourselves to what we wanted. Think about that. Think about how you can push yourself to doing what you really want for yourself. Something that you're frustrated about, something that you're not seeing results in. See how you can push yourself towards making that happen. And tell me whether it works for you or not. I want to know. Tell me down in the comment section below. If you found this video useful, make sure you leave it a thumbs up and tell me what you want to see in future videos. Comment below and ask me a question. If it's good enough, I will make a video on it and put it out in future. And if this is your first time here, I keep telling you, this is the place for you to grow, for you to conquer your mind and actually achieve what you want for yourself. And that's what Self-Help Yourself is all about. So if this is your first time here and you're looking to perform better, feel motivated, and get empowered to achieving great things in your life, then hit the subscribe button, turn on bell notifications, share this video so that more people can learn from this information, the entire dearth of information that I have laid out for you in all of my videos and that are coming out each and every single day. I want you to think about that. Check out all of the videos that I have shared so far and wait for all of the amazing content that I have coming out for you really soon. And you will ultimately become the best version of yourself. I promise you that. That's my promise to you. This is Vikram signing off, and I'll see you in the next session.